Hello and welcome to Tufts University, where we have ourselves the final dual meet of the NESCAC season, the Tufts Jumbos against the Hamilton Continentals. These two teams getting a little bit of a warm-up in. It's also senior day as we head towards the NESCAC playoffs and eventually NCAAs. My name is Andrew Howe. Thank you for tuning into JumboCast. I'm joined alongside Ethan Nito and Daphne Alpay. And we got to get started real quick, but just before Daphne, these two teams, they've played each other once. Tufts generally favored based off of the results from last year.
Yeah, no, most definitely. The Jumbos are really deep. They're quite stacked, but expect the Hamilton Continentals to really put in a good fight here. They're both approaching the NESCAC competition in a couple weeks, so both of them have been training hard and expect to see some good fast swimming.
We're going to kick things off with the women's 200-yard medley relay. Keep an eye on the middle lanes for Caroline Shen, Chiamaka Kanu, Kat Withers, and Ashlyn Blessy for Hamilton. Lara Wijak, Quincy Wheeler, Jade Foltenier, and Sydney Stats for the Jumbos. See those middle lanes generally going to be the fastest. Wijak off to a good start there for Tufts.
You know, Andrew, today might be a day where we see some of the outer lanes make an impact and really take the lead, because not everyone is swimming their main events today. We know that there are a few swimmers on both sides missing out this afternoon as we're approaching championship season. And senior day, obviously, some of the seniors are going to be swimming events that they want to, maybe having a little bit more preference in the last home meet of their time here at Tufts.
We're approaching the halfway point here. Chiamaka Kanu there for Hamilton in the middle lane, facing off against Quincy Wheeler. But Wheeler suddenly starting to pull ahead as we head into the halfway point of this relay.
Not shocking, Wheeler did break the 100-yard breaststroke Tufts record last weekend at MIT, so not shocking to see her pull ahead here and hand it over to Jade Foltiani, who's doing an excellent job on this fly leg, really extending that lead.
Yeah, the Jumbo's really running away with this one here. We'll see how much distance Kat Withers, the junior, is able to keep able to match, but right now the Jumbo's off to a tremendous pace, and you look over to lane 6 as well. That's Mia Solomon, the freshman, gaining some significant time. We head into our last leg here. It's the freestyle. Sydney Stats running away with this one. Keep an eye out also for Aaliyah Larson over in lane 6. It's going to be Jumbos finishing off here 1-2, unless something can be said over in lane 3 with Ashlyn Blessy. The first relay of this dual meet will be won by the Jumbos, as coming in smoothly is Sydney Stats. Coming in second is lane 6, Aaliyah Larson, and the Tufts BC squad. And Hamilton will finish in third. Final time, 1:49.02.
And a really strong statement to open up this meet. You know, a Tufts 1-2, and I mean, just cruising the entire way there.
No, most definitely. You can really see the depth from all three of the Tufts teams, all of them doing a great job putting all 4 legs together. So good things to come, come NESCACs.
Moving right along here. As we said earlier, Daphne, not all of these swimmers are in their main event, specifically for the Jumbos. So we get to see some new looks as we have the men's 200-yard medley as well. Jack Madden starting off in that middle lane for the Jumbos. Jack G, the senior for Hamilton.
Yeah, Andrew, and as you mentioned, it is also senior day, so it's a really great time for both teams' seniors to really get some of their last races in before the championship season. So that's why you might be seeing them in some different events than they're used to swimming, you know, really saying a goodbye to Hamilton Pool, at least for the Jumbos here.
Closing in on that 50-yard mark, it is Madden, barely getting the edge here as we head into the breaststroke portion of this medley relay. Getting a nice start in lane 4 is Emmett Adams coming in with the breaststroke.
And you were saying, Andrew, Daphne, we were talking about this last week, but breaststroke is a big is the great divider between, you know, a really fast relay and, you know, one that might not succeed as much. And Emma Adams with a really strong shift there, putting the Jumbos in a great position. Yeah,
no, most certainly. He really extended that lead on that breaststroke lag, especially in like an individual medley. Breaststroke is normally the great equalizer. It really differentiates you from the field. So Emma Adams doing a really good job putting the Tufts A relay in lane 4 into a solid first. But behind them in lanes 2 and 3, there's a battle going on between the Tufts B relay and the Hamilton A relay for that second spot.
That A relay for Tufts is up ahead by 3 seconds or so. It's going to be a race for second as both the Tufts B and C teams, as well as Hamilton's A, are off to the races. Looking to make a big gain in lane 3 is Nathaniel Taft, the star freshman for the Continentals, but he will fall just short as Will Stearns ends it for Tufts. 135-32. The final. Coming in third is that B squad for the Jumbos. Oliver Grossman, the freshman, the one to finish that one. So good start overall here for Tufts. They take the first 2 medley relays, and that'll send us right into the individual events with the women's 400 IM. Our first individual event of the meet is the women's 400 IM. In lane 1, Brooks Risher out of Hamilton. Emma Klaus in lane 2, Natalie Peng, Madeline Dunn, Emma Robinson, and Madison Hagberg round out the 6 here in this first and only heat.
And the 400 IM is not an event that I believe we have seen so far this year in the Hamilton pool, so it's going to be interesting to see how this one unfolds.
Yeah, no, most definitely. The 400 IM, often called the beast of swimming. It's really just a test of all 4 strokes. It's not a sprint. It's not necessarily a distance race, but definitely it's all about managing your strengths and your weaknesses. Every swimmer has a strong stroke and often a weak stroke. So it's really about race strategy. And you'll see that in the 400 IM and any IM event. The lead changes often, which makes this race personally one of my favorites to watch, even though it was personally one of my least favorite to swim when I was a swimmer.
Fastest PB in this heat is in lane 4 with the Jumbos, Madeline Dunn at 4:29.24. You can see doing pretty well so far, going neck and neck in second place or third and fourth place, still trailing relatively far behind as we enter the second leg of this 400 IM.
And Madeline Dunn was one of the more talented distance swimmers for the Jumbos. She's incredible at the 500 and 1,000-yard freestyle. And so look at her to sort of make up ground towards the end of this event.
No, most certainly. 400 definitely takes a lot of endurance, and so as long as she keeps it close in the backstroke and breaststroke legs, I would not be shocked if she really takes command of that last 100 and possibly pulls away from the field. And she's already made up a decent amount of room in the first 50 of the backstroke leg. Lanes 2, 4, 5, and 6 all really battling it out here for top position.
It's the sophomore Madison Hagberg for the Jumbos currently in the lead, but looking to catch her is Dunn as we head towards the 175-yard mark. We're nearly halfway there, and suddenly Dunn about to take the lead as she's pulling away off of that turn. Third place right now in lane 5, Emma Robinson, the sophomore from Hamilton, as we have hit the halfway point, and this is where Dunn can start to run away with this one in the butterfly and the freestyle. Or, sorry, the breaststroke and the freestyle.
You know, most certainly. It looks like she is still keeping that stroke pretty high, keeping her body position nice and high in the water. A good sign of that she is not getting tired yet. And she really is starting to extend that lead, really taking that momentum from the backstroke to the breaststroke leg. So look for her to, keep pushing through and really take it home here for the Jumbos.
And now if you look over in lane 2, Emma Klaus is making a little bit of a push here in the breaststroke leg as we come towards the first 50 for the breaststroke. She's firmly established herself in second, doing a really good job there, making up ground on this third stroke of the IM.
Yeah, she did look like she fell behind a little bit there in the backstroke, but really making some strides in the breaststroke leg. Backstroke and breaststroke, they're very different strokes, long axis, short axis, so it looks like the breaststroke and short axis strokes are definitely her strength. We saw her also really taking out the lead in the butterfly, so it's nice to see her Madeline Dunn in sight and really use that as motivation to possibly catch her in this leg.
Yeah, very strong breaststroke leg for Klaus. We're going to head into this last 100, and at the moment, looking very, very close here between Dunn and Hagberg, but this is where Madeline Dunn really specializes. She'll also be swimming the 500 freestyle later. Long distance, especially in that freestyle stroke, are what really sets her apart from the rest of this squad.
Yeah, in this last 100, the legs and arms are tired. you're definitely wanting to get to the end, and Madeline Dunn is used to this. She's done this so many times before. This is where she can really shine and pull away and bring it home over in lane 4.
Yeah, no, she really is unmatched in the freestyle, and she's really extending her lead there. That 6-speed kick behind her stroke rate is really high, even though she is obviously probably quite tired. She's really pushing through, so this is going to be a good solid time for her going into NESCACs.
After being just a couple of seconds ahead of second place in Hagberg or in Klaus, Madeline Dunn building a 6-second plus lead as we pull in towards the end here. She's going to finish with a time of 4:35.52 and take first place with ease. Going for second place, going to battle for third place right now is Emma Robinson and Hagberg, and it looks like it will be won by the Continental. Robinson finishing with finishing with 4:47.76 to round out this top half for Hamilton.
As of note, in lane 1, Brooks Risher with a new PB by 2/100ths, shaving off just a little bit from her seed time of 4:51.13. So really great swim for her out there in lane 1 as well.
So the Jumbo's performing very well through these first 3 events. We'll head right over to the men with their 400 IM. Times to watch right now. Connor Townsend, the sophomore, in lane 4. Stephen Roche in lane 3 for Hamilton. Only a freshman looking to shave off some time of that 4-minute PB. Down the line, Sebastian Van Wenrooy, Eric Lundgren in lane 5, Ethan Chu, Willie Zhu over in lane 6. We see Van Wenrooy in lane 1, has not swum this event, at least according to our the databases that we were able to discover. So getting to find some new times, experiment a little bit in this last dual meet of the season.
And Andrew, we'll know that at least one personal best will be broken in this heat.
Carlson right in the midst of everything over in lane 6. We see Willie Zhu getting off to a great start.
Yeah, and Zhu, the senior from Tufts, you see his whole team at the end of the lane behind him, really cheering it on for his one of last senior swims in Hamilton Pool. So look to see him really make a statement here out here in lane 6. A little bit of outside smoke as he leads at the first 100 at 57.16.
Once again, an endurance race here in this 400. You got to make sure you don't expend too many of your resources at the start. And Zhu still has the rest of this race to swim. And as we head into the 150-yard mark, we see Townsend starting to keep up and might even have the lead here as we head into this second half of the backstroke.
And now just about 2 seconds separating 1 through 5 in this event. It's really close, and it's really cool to see because everyone's strengths are different, and you're seeing on each stroke, right, different people are taking the lead, and it's just so tightly contested.
Yeah, we see Eric Lundgren in lane 2 really taking charge of his backstroke leg. Not surprising, he is known for his backstroke skills for the Tufts Jumbos, so he really did take control of that leg, and he turns at 2:03.26 going into that breaststroke leg, about 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field.
Lundgren, the junior, his personal best 4:02.28 in this event. Still ahead as we start off the second half with the breaststroke. And to continue to try and stay at least in striking distance here as Townsend will follow. It's all 3 Jumbos right now in the top 3.
Yeah, and you see Townsend starting to make a move on Lundgren. That 2-second lead from that 50 is almost entirely gone, and it looks like in lane 6 as well, Willie Zhu is also trying to get into the conversation as well as the 3 Jumbos turn 1, 2, 3 at the 250.
Townsend taking the lead here at the 250 mark. Still a lot left to swim, but it's starting to look like a Jumbo runaway. Zhu making a bit of a push here as he heads into his final lap of breaststroke.
And Daph, you call it the great equalizer, and you see right here, it's what's separating the jumbos from the continentals as we're approaching this last 100 on the free, and it's what's allowed Willie Shue to kind of catch up a little bit on this third 100 of the race.
But did he spend too much energy catching up? It is an equalizer, but if you are too far behind, putting a lot of energy into anyone's stroke will come back to haunt you. But it looks like he is still keeping it close there in lane 6, but Townsend is starting to make a move, as well as Lundgren in lane 2. It really is a jumbo race here in lanes 2, 4, and 6 as they come into that final 50.
We're heading into the final stretch, and as you said, Daphne, all three jumbos right within striking distance of each other. Touching first in lane 2 is Eric Lundgren, and he's suddenly starting to make a bit of a push.
No, most certainly. They definitely probably do this in practice every day. It's always great to race your teammates, and racing them, you know what their strengths and weaknesses are. You know that when they're going to pass you, you know when you can come back on them. So this is probably not too new for these three guys, but it's a great display of racing here in Hamilton Pool.
Going into the finish, Lundgren will tap first, followed by Townsend and Willie Shue. Excellent work out of the junior. His final time, 4:13.50, as the jumbos will sweep this fourth event of the meet.
And big cheers coming out from the jumbo side of the pool deck as Willie Shue sets a 4:17.20, which is, at least in our records, a new personal best.
Yeah, no, it's always great, especially as a senior, to really have a great race for your last race and put in a best time. As you get older, best times are fewer and far between, so really great swim from him to shave off some considerable time, 4 seconds almost from his seed.
So excellent work by the jumbos. Eric Lundgren getting the victory here in the 400 IM. We'll move on to the 200-yard freestyle. There are 2 heats in this one. We'll start off with 2 senior jumbos, Katie Shelburne and Sahar Mumtaz. And we'll follow that with another heat afterwards. We will have a ceremony honoring the senior class here for the Tufts Jumbos. As we get further along here in this meet, a total of 32 events, including the diving events, which we will not be seeing here at the pool. But we're off here with another event in the 200 freestyle. Shelburne's personal best, just 0.4 of a second behind Sahar Mumtaz.
And both of these swimmers, Shelburne and Mumtaz, more known as distance swimmers. Shelburne swimming the 500,000 most often, and Mumtaz swimming the 200 and 500. So this will be a good race to see how they strategize against each other. But it looks like they're almost dead even coming into the turn at the 75 here.
And as the two of them were stepping up to the blocks, you could see they were all smiles. They were excited to, you know, have a race with each other and only with each other.
Yeah, no, most certainly. Even though swimming with one person is often a little bit odd just to the viewer, it actually is kind of fun just to swim against one other person. You really aren't distracted by anyone else around you except for yourself and maybe the other person. And the fact that they're friends and they're both seniors and they're probably swimming their last 200 next to each other in this pool is a really special moment for them.
Mumtaz will be swimming the 500 free later on here today. Shelburne going for a sprint with the 50 free. We'll see that one in a little bit. That's the 13th event here of the day. Right now, both swimmers relatively even. Mumtaz pulling ahead by just about 0.8 of a second.
Yeah. Within a second of each other, but Shelburne isn't trying to let her get away. She is trying to fight back here. We'll see what happens on this final 25. Mumtaz turning first, just around a half body length in front of Shelburne.
No, it looks like Shelburne got a really good push off the wall there, because she made up a lot of that ground to Mumtaz.
In the final stretch, Shelburne looking to catch up. It's going to be neck and neck. The victory does go to Mumtaz. Margin of victory, 6.62 seconds between the two seniors. And with that, we'll head into our second heat. Ainsley Ruth in lane 1, Sierra McCarty in lane 2, Gianna Cafone, Jillian Cudney, Charlotte Molson, and Isabella Chambers to round us off. Cudney, the senior, has actually the personal best out of any swimmer in both heats with a 1:52.03.
And you can see herself establishing herself here, just as you said that, Andrew. She's already built herself quite a lead over about 40 yards of swimming. So we'll see how much she can extend that over the course of this 200.
Not only that, but it looks like she's wearing a tech suit this afternoon, so she's definitely going to be gunning for some personal bests and maybe even a pool record, though that would take quite an effort to do so.
You see her already separating from the rest of the competition. The two other jumbos, the ones closest right now, as we see Sierra McCarty and Charlotte and Isabella Chambers in that 2-3 spot respectively. Cudney finishes off that first 100 at 54.19, well ahead of the rest of the competition.
Now, that first split, I mean, if Cudney can keep it up for the second 100, we're watching something special here.
We've got 50 yards left to go. We said Cudney potentially looking for a personal best. She's going to need less than 30 seconds here on this final 50 to get there. Looks like it will be Tufts in the 1, 2, and 3 positions. Here comes Cudney. Time to beat 1:52. And it's going to come down to the wire. Looks like she's going to be just short as she will touch in first place with a 1:54.15.
And a good race for second from lanes 2 and 6 with Sierra McCarty coming to the wall 1:58.98, just over her teammate Isabella Chambers in lane 6, 1:59.23.
So another jumbo sweep against the Continentals. Things looking very good for them. We have, of course, swimmers potentially competing for the final time here at their home university, at their home pool. And so good to see some friendly competition as the jumbo is off to an early lead. Now over to the men's 200 freestyle. Daniel Godino and Ben Howell in the middle lanes. Brian Uribe as well in lane 2, 1:44.77 personal best.
And already we can see after this first 25, this is probably going to be a little bit tighter of a race than the women's race. Cudney really ran away with it, that one on the women's side. But this is going to be a little tighter as we see all 6 swimmers within around a body length of each other coming into this first 50.
It's Howell right now touching first at the end of that first 50. See Hamilton actually, or sorry, it's actually 4 jumbos here in this lane as well. Jack Moore, the jumbo in lane 1, is in second place. As we continue to go down here towards that halfway point. You see 4 white caps to 2 blue. But right now, touching first in lane 6 is going to be Jack Nussbaum. Also has a very fast personal best and is looking to potentially get towards that mark here.
And Nussbaum, just a freshman, showing his strengths here in the 200. As we mentioned at the beginning of the year with the first dual meet, Tufts has a lot of new freshmen coming in, and this is a really great opportunity to see how they've grown from the beginning of the year and how much progress they've made, and, you know, potentially looking on their impact for their future years swimming here in Hamilton Pool.
Less than 50 yards to go. It's Nussbaum, Godino, then Uribe, 1, 2, 3. Over in lane 3, Ben Howell looking to make a bit of a push towards the podium as we head towards this final 25. Jumbo's looking to run away with this one again. It's Nussbaum leading the charge. We'll see if Godino can make a push towards the end, but it will be the freshman in lane 6 taking first, just ahead of his fellow teammates. It'll be Godino in second and Uribe rounding things out in third place, just a quarter of a second behind the number 2 spot.
And the freshman jumbos taking 1 and 2 there. Really impressive swim, really well done, and showing that really, you know, jumbo swimming and diving is in good hands for the future.
So another jumbo 1, 2, 3. We head into our second heat. As potentially even some faster swimmers here in this one. We have Rafe Shafi, the freshman. Peter Labarge for the jumbos, the graduate student. Nate Pfeffer also in lane 6. And then for Hamilton, we have Matt McGregor, Luke Engel, and Ethan Olivo.
Just an explosive start from Labarge there. I mean, it seemed like right off the blocks, he kind of had to jump on everyone. And we're not even done with the first 50, and he's already about half a body length ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, Labarge, the grad student, 5th year in his tech suit, trying to make a statement likely for his last swim in Hamilton Pool. Best time of 1:40.72. The pool record for Hamilton Pool is 1:40.19, so he might perhaps be trying to go for that here down there in lane 2.
Labarge also swimming the 50 free as well as the 50 fly later on today. Still in first place, but only by about half a second or so. Over in lane 6, it's Pfeffer making a bit of a push as well. A very competitive second heat here. Jumbo's still in a good position, still in those 1, 2, 3 spots. In lane 4, we see Rafe Shafi also going for it, but it is right now Labarge running away with this one. 1:17.55 as we head into the final 2 lengths.
Yeah, we have a good race going on for second there between Rafe Shafi and Nate Pfeffer for that second spot, lanes 4 and 6, as well as a little bit of a race between the 2 Hamilton swimmers in lanes 3 and 5 as well. But Peter Labarge really established himself in that first 50 and has not looked back as he comes here right under the flags around about to touch the wall.
Labarge in first, going for second is Shafi. He's going to get there as well. The winning time, 1:44.38, as the grad student will pick up the win here in this second heat.
And from start to finish from Peter Labarge, that looked almost effortless. I mean, he was really composed with his strokes, made sure to take his time, and looked comfortable right off the blocks there.
We've got 5 minutes to cool off before we head into our next set of events. We'll be back with more Tufts swimming here on JumboCast. Welcome back here to JumboCast. More coverage of this dual meet between the Tufts Jumbos and Hamilton Continentals. Andrew Howe, Ethan Ito, and Daphne Alpay here as we head into the 7th event of the afternoon, the 50-yard backstroke for the women. So only one heat this time, as we'll have Marissa Duffy, Laura Wijak, Caroline Shen, Elena Harrison, Natalie Pang, and Elise Fong to round things out. We've entered the sprints. Getting off to a good start, obviously crucial, and right now, ahead by just a hair in lane 5 is Natalie Pang, the sophomore from Hamilton. It'll be Pang, Harrison, and Shen leading at that first 25. We're already heading into the final stretch here. The Continentals have a chance to have a good showing in this one. Here's Shen making a push in that last touch, and she is going to finish first. Coming in second is Elena Harrison, and in third, Elise Fong from the Jumbos.
Yeah, as you said, a very tightly contested heat there. 50, not a lot of time to make a lot of space between yourself and the competition. And as you can see, lanes 3 through 6 all within around 7/10 of a second of each other. So a really great race there between lanes 3 and 6.
That is the first Hamilton win of this meet, and it goes to Caroline Shen, the senior from the Continentals. Now we head to the men. June Cho in lane 1. Oliver Grossman from the Jumbos in lane 2. Ethan Del Rosario in lane 3. Jack Madden, and then Jackson Oliver in lane 5. Fastest personal best belongs to Grossman, the freshman from the Jumbos, a 22.22. Was not seeded in this event, but is sitting there with that fastest personal best. Already off to a good start are the Jumbos in lane 2 and 4. We see Grossman and Madden both ahead as we head into that final turn. In lane 3, Del Rosario trying to make up some ground, but it will be Jumbos 1 and 2. We'll see who runs away with it. Grossman will be the one to touch first, followed by Madden and then Del Rosario. Final time here for the freshman, 23.97, as the Jumbos will strike right back and take the victory here in the 50 back.
Now, not a lot of time to create separation there, but Grossman, I mean, right off the blocks, you see spending so much time underwater, so powerful under the water, creating that separation and finishing with quite a dominant performance from him.
Yeah, no, most certainly. Especially in short course swimming, having great walls is often a hallmark of a great short course swimmer, because you can make up for not fast swimming with really great underwaters. And Grossman, definitely a fast swimmer, but also excellent underwater, and really showcased that there in that 50 back.
You can see here firsthand the difference in strategy when we're swimming these 50-yard races, where you really have to get things going quick, and the strokes per second, strokes per minute have to be up, versus some of those longer distance events. Now we head on to the 50-yard breaststroke. It'll be two Jumbos once again in lanes 3 and 4 to start off this first heat. The freshman Sydney Stats in lane 3, Chesney Chung, the senior, in lane 4. Coming ahead early is Stas, the freshman. Has a personal best in this event of just under 30 seconds. As we get towards that final stretch, Chung lagging a little bit behind, as this first heat will go towards the freshman, Sydney Stas, finishing this one with a final time of 31:28. Now into Heat 2. 3 Continentals, 2 Jumbos. For Hamilton, it's Delaney Patterson in lane 1, Holly Woodhouse in lane 3, Irene Keh in lane 5. For the Jumbos, Mia Solomon and Aaliyah Larson. You see already, really not a lot of separation until we get closer to that 25-yard mark. The Jumbos looking to finish 1-2 here in this heat. As Solomon and Larson coming down towards this final stretch. It'll be a tough battle between the two of them. But right now it does look like Larson is pulling away by just a bit. A couple more strokes to finish it off, and it will be Larson to touch first. Followed there by Solomon, ending in third over in lane 5, Irene Keh, the senior from Hamilton.
Yeah, it looks like Mia Solomon had her at the 25, but Leah Larson really turned the jets on them during that last 25 breaststroke, especially when you're sprinting. You don't want to spin, and she really did a good job keeping the stroke rate high, but keeping her hold on the water propelled her to that nice time of 30:54, nearly breaking that 30-second mark over there in lane 4.
And I believe, sorry that I'm a little bit late to this, the 30:54 from Aaliyah Larson is a pool record, breaking the previous record of 30:78 set by Celia Ripple in 2016.
Men's 50-yard breaststroke, Matt Hake and Julian Chun in lanes 3 and 4. But right now the Continental's off to a good start over in lane 5. Ben Chidley also making a push as we head down to this final 25. Hamilton looking to get another race in their favor. It's Matt Hake. He has a personal best of under 26. Looking to get close to that mark here. He will finish first with a time of 27:07. And Hamilton will go 1-2, and in third place at this 50-yard breaststroke is Julian Chun from Tufts. So another event won by the Continentals as they're trying to make up some ground here in this dual meet. That's the end of our short stint of 50-yard races, as we'll now move on to the 100-yard butterfly. For the Jumbos in this 100-yard fly, you're looking towards those middle lanes. Esme Blackstock and Valeria Strohmeyer. Also have Marissa Chow down there in lane 6, not a frequent swimmer of this event. And over for the Continentals is Esme Blackstock, Jackie Story, Madison Long, and Ashley Colpon.
And coming into that first 50, as you said, Andrew, look to the middle lanes to see a little bit of action, and we see Strohmeyer and Madison Leong starting to separate themselves a little bit from the field. Strohmeyer just ahead of her, turning around 0.4 of a second ahead of the Hamilton swimmer, but look to see Madison Leong try to come back here as they turn for home after the 75.
And butterfly is a tiring stroke, so even though it's only really 100, you want to make sure, if you're Strohmeyer right now, as she's showing very well, to not drop off, not let the fatigue get to you. Comes home with a 59:33.
You see Hamilton ending in second and third, with Long and then Colpon with a 101.94 to round out the podium. Now to the men's 100 fly. Down the lanes, Will Sinzinski in lane 1, Timothy Chow in lane 2, Stephen Roche in lane 3, Ethan Schreier in lane 4, Jack Canistra in lane 5, and Darian Johnson for the Jumbos in lane 6. Schreier with the best PB out of this group of 6 with a 48.28 in the 100 fly. You can see already pulling away with an early lead, but not to be outmatched. In second place right now as we head into that first turn in lane 2 is Timothy Chow. Schreier with a 1 second lead at that 50 mark. Looking to pull away a little bit as the intensity looks to build at 75 yards. One final turn here for Schreier. And it looks like he will be the one to finish in front unless anything can be said by Cho.
And Cho really trying to catch Shire. It looks like he did try to close the gap a little bit, just a little bit too little, a little bit too late. But Jumbo's going 1, 2, and 3 here. With Shire taking the win and Cho in second. And Darian Johnson, the junior, in lane 6 also coming there with a 53.73 in lane 6.
Looks like there'll be one more event for both the men and the women to wrap up this portion of the meet. The 50-yard freestyle here for the women. We're going to start off with a short heat of just 2 swimmers. Alexia Palca-Lacerda and Abigail Miller, both in the jumbos, getting an opportunity here before that group of 6 to wrap up the 50 free.
And again, back into the shorter races here right before we go off for a little bit of a break. I mean, there's not much time really for us to even breathe. And it's gonna be key to see who gets off the blocks the fastest and who gets off the wall over at the farther 25 to bring it home and close it out strong.
It looks like they're stroke for stroke coming into the wall, but Alexa Palca-Lacerda just got the better of Abigail Miller. Only 14/100 separating the two of them, so a nice good race between the 2 tough swimmers in Heat 1 as we look on to Heat 2 of the women's 50 free on deck.
A lot of fast times here in those middle lanes is Ashlyn Blessy from the Continentals and Quincy Wheeler for the jumbos with a PB of 24.2. Jade Foltenier also with a 24.03. As right off the bat, looks like both Wheeler and Avery Newcomer over in lane 6 for the jumbos starting off quick as we head into this final stretch. So again, keep an eye out on those middle lanes. Blessy trying to make a bit of a run, closing in on Wheeler. As we come towards the end, it will be the jumbos barely running away with this one, as Wheeler will finish in first with a time of 25.03, just half a second ahead of her continental counterpart. Now here for the men, 3 swimmers in this first heat. Dan Godino, the freshman jumbo, and then 2 continentals, Ethan Oliva over in lane 3, Zach Yasinov in lane 4. You can see the swimmers here in this 50-yard sprint, such ferocity on each stroke, as right now it does look like Ethan Olivo in the lead, but keep an eye out for Yasinov as well in second, with Daniel Godino going to be behind by a bit. It is the Continental Olivo in first. Godino actually managing to, I believe, finish in second place, according to our lane sheets up ahead of us, on the scoreboard in front of us, unless there was a bit of a mistake before.
Maybe a little bit of a miscue there on the timing boards, because I do believe that Zach Yasinov came home in second over in lane 4. But regardless, very good race, a very competitive race. And also of note, for both the women's and the men's 50-yard freestyle, a lot of youth swimming these events.
Most certainly, as you mentioned, a lot of youth. That first heat was all freshmen and sophomores, and this heat is also a mixture of a lot of youth here. Just only 1 senior, with the senior Ben Howell from Hamilton in lane 3 in this heat.
Soren Overard for the jumbos in lane 4. The junior looking to add another very solid time to his resume. Armand Sicca in lane 2, Jack Moore in lane 6. The Continentals have Henry Wiemeyer and Alex Vasquez to round things out in this second heat. Looks like the time is the scoreboard might be what we're looking at right now as we have a bit of a standstill before the race begins. Looks like things are solved. Swimmers on the blocks to round out this 50 free.
Now, as we're off to the start here, I want to keep an eye on Armand Sika. I've been consistently impressed with how well he's swam sprints in the meets that I've been able to watch so far this season.
Vasquez led at the turn. It's going to be a tight race towards the finish. Running away now is Uvard, as it will be the Jumbo to finish just ahead of his counterpart in Shika. 0.12 of a second is the difference, but it will be the junior Jumbo closing things out here with a win. 21.81. And that will take us to our next break. We've gotten through the first page of this group of lane sheets that we have in this dual meet between Tufts and Hamilton. We'll be back in a few as we continue on here on JumboCast. Welcome back here to Hamilton Pool. We have our next leg of this dual meet between the Tufts Jumbos and the Hamilton Continentals. One last tune-up before the NESCAC Championships happen later this month. Andrew Howe alongside Ethan Ito and Daphne Alpay for this on the commentary here for JumboCast. Women's 100-yard freestyle is what we're looking at next. 3 freshman jumbos here in Heat 1, Alexia Palco-Lacerda, Celine Tinkay, and Natalie Lesh.
You know, Celine Tinkay, at least to our knowledge, has not swam the 100-yard freestyle before up until this point. She's more of a distance swimmer, so it'll be interesting to see how she tackles this, much shorter race.
And pretty even here coming up to the first 50. All 3 Tufts swimmers turning 26 mid there. We'll see who has enough energy in the second 50 to really start to make a break for it. It looks like in lane 2, that might be Alexia Palco-Lacerda trying to assert herself a little bit over Celine Tinkay and Natalie Lesh, but the other 2 jumbo swimmers not letting her get away. We'll see who gets it on this last 25 here as they approach the flags. Almost stroke for stroke between the 3 of them. Who is it going to be? And it looks like Alexia Palco-Lacerda holds on there, 55-33, just 3 100s over Celine Tinkay, and then Natalie Lesh with a strong 55-51 out there at lane 4. Great race to start off the 100 free for the woman here.
And I believe that's a personal best for Alexia Palco-Lacerda with a 55. Never mind, I cannot read, I apologize.
It is the first time entered into Swim Cloud, at least for Tinkay, so that's a win there for you, Ethan. Heading into the second heat, 5 swimmers here, 3 from Hamilton, 2 from Tufts. It is Ella Brady, Sierra McCarty, Ashlyn Blessy, Isabella Chambers, and Carolyn Miner in lanes 1 through 5. Off to a very even start once again. The lanes in the center looking like they're off to a bit of a better start with Blessy and Chambers leading the charge with the jumbo up by just a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like Chambers is going to turn first 26-36 to Blessy's 26-74, but the other lanes around them also keeping it close here as Chambers tries to extend that lead coming into the 75-yard turn here.
Looks like Chambers is going to be the one to finish in first. We'll see what the battle for second ends up looking like, as all of a sudden we see Sierra McCarty looking to make a bit of a push for a second, still trying to follow Blessy. It'll be Jumbo's 1-2, but lane 5 will be the swimmer to finish in third, with Carolyn Miner scoring a 56-59.
Chambers there, the only swimmer to get under that 54-second barrier, 53.95, a great swim for her. Really handled that heat quite well, control from start to finish, so a great swim out of her from lane 4.
Next up is the men's 100 freestyle. Ethan Olivo in lane 1, Evan Adams in lane 2, Nathaniel Taft from Hamilton, the star freshman in lane 3, Will Stearns and Jack G will round things out. So 3 Continentals, 2 Jumbos in the even lanes. We'll see who runs away with this one.
And an extra swimmer for the Jumbos in lane 6, Armand Sika, is also going to be participating in this heat.
We quickly see Taft jump out to a bit of an advantage. The freshman earning some honors here for Hamilton over the last couple of weeks already. It's very strongly in the lead. About a half of a body length separates him and number 2. In second place at the turn is Evan Adams with 22.77.
No, Nathaniel Taft doing just such a great job. I mean, with every stroke, it seems like he's, increasing that gap back to Adams over in lane 2.
Coming towards the finish, it'll be Taft to put away this one for Hamilton. It'll be a close battle for second as we actually see Shika over in lane 6, not initially even listed for this race, coming in second place with a 47.55. Taft coming just 0.3 of a second short of his personal best of 45.38. So a very strong swim here for the Hamilton freshman as we'll move on to the 100 back. Here in the 100-yard backstroke for the women. Marissa Duffy in lane 1, Elise Fong in lane 2, Caroline Shen in lane 3, Madison Hagberg in lane 4, and Natalie Peng in lane 5. Once again, one more swimmer on the Hamilton side for this heat. We see Natalie Peng off to a good start as she had a very nice jump off of the gun and is ahead at the 25 mark.
Pretty even here coming up to the first turn. It does look like Peng in lane 5, but also Elise Fong in lane 2, 29.61, keeping her in her sights. Actually tied with her teammate, Madison Hagberg, as well. So it looks like Elise Fong is making a move, the senior in lane 2, trying to win the 100 back on her senior day here in Hamilton Pool.
Fong looking to pull away as fading now is Peng. We'll see if Hagberg can catch her. Going in with a push is Caroline Shen in lane 3 as well. It's a very close finish, but Elise Fong, the one to finish in first. Final time just over a minute and 0.2 of a second ahead of her teammate in Hagberg.
And one of the things that allowed the Jumbos really to kind of take control of that race, even if just by a hair, is their underwaters. I mean, you can see they consistently came up just a little bit later than the Hamilton swimmers in the adjacent lanes.
Yeah, no, Ethan, you make a really great point there. Both Fong and Hagberg in lanes 2 and 4 really have great underwaters and really came down to the wire between them, and it looks like Fong did get her hand on the wall first, just at 2 seconds over her teammate, and great swim for her on her senior day to win the 100 back.
Now over to the men, where, again, another event with more Hamilton Continentals than Tufts Jumbos. Josh Smith in lane 1, Oliver Grossman in lane 2, Jamie Boyd, Jack Madden, and June Cho in lane 5 for Hamilton. Only 2 of these swimmers had a seed time coming in. That's Jamie Boyd and June Cho. As, again, a lot of these jumbo swimmers going in for some events for the first time or events that they're not normally present in, but you can see already they're off to a good start with Oliver Grossman leading the charge at the 50. It is jumbos 1 and 2 with Grossman and Madden at the 75-yard mark. We come into this last turn with the jumbos looking to go 1 and 2. Can Madden make a push? Over in lane 3 is Jamie Boyd as well. It'll be a close battle for third, as it'll be Grossman, then Madden, and then rounding things out on the podium is Jamie Boyd, the sophomore from Hamilton. Our next set of events, the women's 100-yard breaststroke. 5 swimmers, once again, 3 from Hamilton, 2 from Tufts. In those middle lanes, Holly Woodhouse out of Hamilton, Emma Klaus from the Jumbos. Very close here at the 25 mark between those two in the middle, as well as Elena Harrison, who is making a bit of a push as well in lane 2.
It's almost dead even between Emma Klaus and Holly Woodhouse here. And I mean, actually between the front four, if we're being honest, Irene Keh over in lane 5 also, keeping it real tight.
And you mentioned Elena Harrison. We typically see her more in the sprint freestyle events, taking a little bit of a change here in the 100 breaststroke, but it looks like she is trying to keep pace with lanes 3, 4, and 5.
Irene Keh making a bit of a push over in that 5th lane. She's currently ahead by just a hair, but following quickly behind her is Emma Klaus. We come towards the end. It looks like Keh will take this one, and going in 2nd place will be the Jumbo and Klaus Holly Woodhouse for the Continentals in 3rd, as Hamilton once again take 2 out of the top 3. Hamilton rocking with a very large roster here. As you see in many of these events, they actually have more swimmers competing than the Jumbos do. Part of that, I think, also due to the fact that some of the tough swimmers are not competing in as many events as they would normally, leading into the NESCAC Championships, but good to see some good representation from Hamilton as well. We're into the men's 100-yard breaststroke. Sebastian Van Wanrooy in lane 1, Connor Townsend in lane 2, Matt Hake, Jack Nussbaum, and Ben Chidley, 3 through 5. And right now it's Hake, the sophomore, ahead at the first 25, but still a lot left to swim.
And you see Jack Nussbaum and Connor Townsend flanking him on either side. The 3 are going to go into this first 50 virtually dead even, all 28 low. And let's see what happens here on the second 50. A really great turn there from Jack Nussbaum and lane 4 to start to try to make a little bit of separation between him and the rest of the field.
Hake is starting to fade as we head to the 75. It'll be the 2 Jumbos leading the way, Townsend and Nussbaum, and right now, hard to tell who's going to be ahead by the end of it. Nussbaum still by just a hair, but watch as well over towards Townsend. It will be number in lane 4, the freshman Jack Nussbaum, to finish ahead by just 0.2 of a second, with the Continental and Hake finishing 3rd.
Now you talk about the importance of getting off the walls well, and it's especially important in breaststroke. I mean, you saw Nussbaum and Townsend, that's where they made up most of their ground and built a little bit of a lead after that first 50 there.
Yeah, no, most certainly it's really important to keep your momentum from when you're swimming and keep that going through the wall and really make sure that you push off and don't lose any speed in your turn. So both of the tough swimmers doing a really great job maintaining their energy throughout their swimming and both their underwater pullouts as well.
Jumbo's continuing to perform admirably here on Senior Day as we have another 5-minute break before our big hitters, the 500-yard freestyle, coming up after this. Welcome back here to JumboCast. We have another set of events in our dual meet between Tufts and Hamilton, and kicking us off here is the 500-yard women's freestyle. We'll go through the lanes right now as we obviously have a lot of time to talk. In lane 1 will be Sophia Tassone out of the Continentals, the sophomore. Celine Tinche, the freshman from the Jumbos. Brooks Risher in lane 3 from Hamilton. Madeline Dunn in lane 4. Emma Nordquist in lane 5 from Hamilton, and Sahar Mumtaz, the senior, in lane 6. Daphne, in a race like this, a 500-yard freestyle, what is on your mind at the start? Because you have to be in it for the long run here.
Yeah, no, most certainly in a 500. Even though to the visual eye, it does look like a long race. In reality, it's not as long as you think. And definitely with the 500, the goal is to obviously keep an even pace. You want to, go out strong, but you don't want to go out too hard. You don't want to go out too slow because it's hard to catch up. So it's really a strategic race. And in a 500, normally around by the 200, 250 mark, you'll know if you're really feeling it. So wait for about halfway through to really see swimmers establish themselves and start to make moves if they're going to make them here in the 500.
And someone that we already know and we can see already making an impact, establishing herself as Madeline Dunn. She's an excellent distance swimmer for the Jumbos, swimming a shorter race earlier today, and this is more her turf.
Dunn ahead by about 3.5 seconds here as we get to the 150 mark.
Yeah, most certainly. We did see her in the last dual meet break the pool records in both the 500 and the 1,000, so expect her to put a good one in here as well out there in lane 4 ahead of the field. And we see in lane 2 with Celine Tunchai trying to solidify up second place there with Brooks Risher, just about a body length behind her, trying to reel her in as well.
Now, Celine Tunçay, the freshman out of Istanbul, Turkey, has done a really good job establishing herself this season as sort of heir apparent to Madeline Dunn, and definitely second in the pecking order when it comes to distance swimmers for the women's team.
Yeah, no, most certainly. We did see her earlier in the 100 free, and we've seen her in a variety of events throughout the season. So look to her to be a very versatile swimmer for the Tufts Jumbos as she moves through her college career here at Hamilton Pool.
You see nearly half a pool length separating Dunn and the second place swimmers. Tinche right now 8 seconds behind as we're about halfway through this race, and right now it looks like the Jumbos are favored here, at least for that first place spot. Still a battle here for the remaining positions. In lane 3, we see Brooks Risher still continuing to be in the hunt within about a second or two of second place.
Madeline Dunn turning in that 300 at 3:01:08, right on around that 5-minute pace. Let's see if she could maybe with a really speedy last 200 break that 5-minute mark. But regardless, she's definitely looking around that 5:03, 5:04 500 time here as she turns for the 350.
With that 500, it's, 20 laps around the pool? So at this point, with Dunn hitting her 15th length, just 125 to go, as you can still see some swimmers in the back trying to get, to within at least the pool length of Dunn, who is off to a fantastic start to this race, and only has about a minute left to close it out.
And it almost seems like Dunn can just keep going forever. I mean, the longer the race is, the longer she can extend that lead.
Yeah, no, most certainly. She really does a great job in the first 100, going after it. And she's not afraid to set a ferocious pace and really keep herself to it. She's really been holding around 30.1, 30.2 here across all of these 50s, turning in 4:33.59 with a 50 left to go. So expect her to put a good one in here. Incredibly consistent. And Celine Tunchai out there in lane 2 doing lane 2, really solidified herself into second, extending about a 2 body length lead over Brooks Risher in lane 3. And then also the three swimmers in places 4, 5, and 6, lanes 1, 5, and 6 are all having a little battle of their own out there for 4th place with Sophia Tassone, Emma Nordquist, and Sahar Mumtaz in lanes 1, 5, and 6. So look to them to see who's going to win that battle for the 4th place spot in this 500.
Dunn's going to finish with a time of 5:03.67, well ahead of the rest of her counterparts. In 2nd place will also be a jumbo, Celine Tinche, with a 5:20.93, and right behind her in 3rd, Brooks Risher with a 5:24.29. Battle for 4th place will be won by lane 5, Emma Nordquist, the junior from Hamilton.
Just a dominant outfit from there, start to finish from Madeline Dunn. You kind of know when she's swimming a distance race that she is going to pull away from the pack. That's just how good she is.
Dunn's 5:03.67 was better than the personal bests of 4 out of the 5 other swimmers in the pool for that one, so showing just how impressive she has been in these long distance swims. Over now to the men's 500 free. Joshua Chase, the senior from the Continentals in lane 1. Eli Houghton from the Jumbos in lane 2. Luke Engel in lane 3. Rafe Shaffi in lane 4. Jake Canistra in lane 5. And Edwin Liang Gilman in lane 6. After this race, a couple more sprints, and then we head into the 200 freestyle relay for both genders to wrap up this dual meet. Jumbos, the dominating performance so far against Hamilton, and we'll see how the rest of these events go.
Yeah, and of note in this heat, 2 seniors, both Eli Houghton and Edwin Liang Gilman in lanes 2 and 6. So look for the 2 Tufts seniors on their senior day to try to make a statement here in the 500. Rafe Shaffi, the freshman in lane 4, has been the fastest jumbo swimmer this season in the 500 across many of their dual meets. But let's see if the 2 seniors in lanes 2 and 6 can make it a little interesting for him here in this 500.
Heading into that first 50, the Jumbos lead the way in all 3 spots. It'll go 2, 4, and 6. That's Houghton, Shaffi, and Liang Gilman. This is the last coverage of swimming that we will have here on JumboCast in terms of live broadcasting, as we'll be finishing off this dual meet before the Jumbos head into NESCAC and then NCAA competition. On the JumboCast YouTube channel, however, you could see some more swimming as we plan another episode of the JumboCast Amateur Hour with some of our Tufts swimmers. We'll hopefully get that out before the NCAA championships begin. We'll get to talk to some of the participants in that eventually. We'll start filming that perhaps in a week or 2. Ethan, certainly going to be an interesting one if you've been a fan of our content in the past.
Yeah, I think you know a couple of the amateur hour episodes we put up a pretty reasonable fight. We showed that maybe we're not as bad at athletics as some may think we are. But
speak for yourself.
I think we have our work cut out here, guys.
Yeah, I think we're going to get smoked. I don't really see us having much of a chance, but it'll be good fun regardless.
I feel that our success would be, it would be a success if we don't get lapped, and I feel that might happen.
Yeah, it's been a while since I stepped in a pool, I'm not going to lie.
Andrew, of the 5 or the 6 amateur hour people, who do you think is going to do the best?
I mean, probably not me. I would argue maybe you, Ethan, just as you were in the on the water polo team at least for a little bit a couple of years ago. But
I like that answer.
It definitely won't be Jordan. I'll tell you that.
Coming back here to the 500, looks like they're turning at the 300. Rafi Shaffi has really extended a lead over his two Tufts teammates over the past around 150 yards or so. The three were even, but looks like he was done messing around and he decided to put a little bit of juice in there. And it looks like he's opened up quite a big lead over both Eli Houghton and Edwin Gilman. And also of note, Luke Engel in lane 3 has also pulled up into the conversation for second place.
This is Shafi's event right now. The 500 free, that middle distance freestyle looking very good for himself. It will be an interesting battle for second place, however, as you said, Houghton, Leanne Gilman, and then the Continental in Luke Engel, all with personal bests under 435, 445, I should say. So all capable of performing very well, but right now it is Shafi ahead of the pack as we head into these last 100 yards of the 500.
And Shafi in his first year here has done a really good job of establishing himself as the guy for the 500. And you can see, I mean, he just establishes such a good rhythm, such a good pace, and sticking to that is allowing him to extend that lead just a little bit more.
Shafi closing in on his final two lengths here of the pool. 4:22.12 at the 450. You see here 6 seconds and change ahead of his counterparts. That three-man race for second place is continuing to be neck and neck, as all of a sudden the Continental in Luke Engel starting to make a bit of a push. Will turn first here as we head into this final length. Shafi will finish in first. Let's take a look at his second place matchup. Eli Houghton looking to close. Oh, look. And on the other side in lane 6, Leanne Gilman finishing second. It just barely is actually the senior, Edwin Leanne Gilman. That final time of 4:57.52. And going into third place in lane 2, it will be Eli Houghton. So a very competitive race all around. Congratulations again to Rafi Shafi, who had a great closeout there, ended seconds ahead of the rest of his competition. We have one more event before, I believe, another break and the honoring of some of our seniors here on the Tufts Women Dive team. That's the 50-yard butterfly for both the women and the men. The Tufts men 3-0 on the season. Tufts women 2-1 in their dual meets. The women coming off of a loss to MIT. We head on here to the 50 butterfly. 3 jumbos in the first heat as May Blackstock, Mia Solomon, and Alexia Palco-Lacerda. Solomon spent a much longer portion of that first length underwater and is pulling away here with the lead. In lane 3, Blackstock actually has the best personal best, but looks like she might finish towards the end here of this first heat, as Solomon with a very strong showing to start off this set of 2 heats that we have in this race with a time of 26:58.
Yeah, and as you were saying there, Andrew, really the point of difference there for Solomon was the amount of time that she was underwater, the amount of distance that she covered. She was coming up at around half the length of the pool there, which really, you know, decreases the amount of time that she has to actively swim butterfly.
I believe that's a new personal best for Alexia Palco-Lacerda in this event, at 28:17, just narrowly edging out what she had back before with a 28-28. Here's the second heat. Kat Withers for Hamilton, Jillian Cudney for the Jumbos in those middle lanes, and Cudney already off to a ferocious start on that first length.
That the pool record here might be in danger. 25.82 set by Catherine Sweetser in 2021 from Tufts, but Cudney with a ferocious pace, she might be able to snag that record as she comes towards the wall.
25.72.
That is a new record.
1/10 of a second shaved off of that. Congratulations to Jillian Cudney in second place from the Jumbos, Jade Foltenye, and in third, Madison Lung. See here the pool records different than what the personal best for some of these swimmers may be, but really nice for Jillian Cudney in her last individual event of this dual meet to set a new record, to leave a legacy here at Hamilton.
And I mean, a star sprinter for the Jumbos does it in not only in the fly, but also the free. Consistently, I mean, very explosive, and always on the sprints, one to look out for.
We now head into the first of two heats in the men's 50-yard butterfly. 5 swimmers in this first one, 3 from Tufts, 2 from Hamilton. Going down the line 2 through 6, it's Sean Carr, Ethan Del Rosario, Julian Chun, Josh Smith, and Daniel Godino. See Chun off to a quick reaction, but right now the Continentals are the ones leading the way in 2 and 4. Del Rosario ahead by a hair. We see Smith also approaching. Over in lane 1, or lane 2, Sean Carr making a push as well, but it will be Hamilton to come out on top here. Ethan Del Rosario, the one to touch first with a 24.83. Here in the second heat, Matt McGregor, Willie Shue, Jack G, Peter Labarge, Nathaniel Taft, and Luke Huska, the 6 in the pool for this second heat.
And this heat of seniors, and Peter Labarge de Grazino, with Nathaniel topping the only freshman in this field. So let's see if those Tufts seniors on their senior day can pull out a win here in the 50 fly.
We saw Labarge had a good performance earlier on in the day, neck and neck with both Taft and G along the sides. He's flanked by the swimmers who will finish second and third, with the grad student Labarge finishing with a 23.03, just shy of both his personal best and the pool record.
You know, what a swimmer Nathaniel Taft is. I mean, just a freshman for the Continentals. Performing great in every event that he swam in so far, really giving Labarge a good run for his money. They're only about 2/10 of a second off in the 50 fly.
So now, as we run towards the end of this dual meet between Tufts and Hamilton, I believe we have a short break as we will be honoring some of our seniors. We'll make sure that's the case before we step aside. But overall, a very successful year for both the Tufts men's and women's swim and dive teams, and a lot of faces, Ethan, that will look to continue their season on a high note as they head into the NESCAC and NCAA championships.
Yeah, I mean, for all of these seniors, you know, their last moments in this pool in a meet setting, um, and we've still got a couple events to go. You're definitely going to want to look for the relays where, you know, the team atmosphere really comes into play, and you're going to see. I mean, you're going to be able to hear too. This building gets loud. This building can get loud, and it will.
Yeah, no, most certainly, Ethan, you make a great point. For the seniors, this is their last ever competitive race at their home pool. So even though they might still be practicing here, this is the last time they're really going to suit up and get on the blocks and really race. So it's a really special moment for all the seniors who have spent 4 years really dedicating their time and energy to the Tufts Swim and Dive team.
We're going to step aside for a short break. We'll be right back with those senior festivities here on JumboCast. Welcome back, everybody, to this dual meet. We're back here with the last individual event of this dual meet between Tufts and Hamilton. The women's 100-yard IM is up. We have 3 jumbos, 1 from each grade, freshman, sophomore, and junior. Natalie Lesh in lane 3, Valeria Strohmeyer in lane 4, and Avery Newcomer in lane 5. As you heard, I believe we'll be waiting until after the dive team returns from their meet at Babson to honor those seniors and have those festivities. And so we'll see that after the conclusion of this meet. Here in this first heat, the jumbos all going to finish in the top 3. We'll see how these swimmers perform. Newcomer is a newcomer to the IM, has not participated in this one, at least on record. And so we'll be setting a mark that she can chase after for the remainder of her collegiate career.
And a very nice breaststroke stint from Newcomer there, setting her up well for this freestyle 25.
And it looks like she will finish in first place with a 102.75, followed again by her teammates in Strohmeyer and Lesh. That brings us to the second heat. Ashley Colpin in lane 1, Sierra McCarty in lane 2, Holly Woodhouse in lane 3, Sydney Stats in lane 4, Irene Ken in lane 5, and Elena Harrison in lane 6. Natalie Lesh setting a personal best as well with a 103.80 as she ended second in that second heat. Fastest PB in this group of 6 swimmers is Sydney Stats, the freshman from Tufts, with a 58.74. And we're off.
Yeah, and the 100 IM, not an event usually contested often in college, but it's a fun one. It's really just a sprint of every single stroke, so really plays heavily into the hands of just any sprinter. If you can really just make your way through 25 of every stroke, you're going to be pretty good at the 100 IM. And we can see Elena Harrison in lane 6, a little bit of outside smoke there, taking the lead, 28.08 after that first 50.
A really solid start for Harrison. We see her teammate in Stats behind her in lane 4. Looking to make a bit of a push towards the lead head of the pack in the breaststroke. And you can see here Stats starting to gain and now actually going to touch first as we head into our final 25. It's Harrison in lane 6, Stats in lane 4, and it looks like the freshman Stas is starting to pull away here. The battle for third looks like it'll be won by Irene Ke. Making a final effort is Harrison, but it will not be enough. Stas takes first, Harrison in second, and Irene Ke leading things out in third. And so one more individual race here, the men's 100 IM. The first heat, 6 swimmers, 5 of them jumbos, as we get a load of seniors here. Timothy Cho, Matt McGregor, and Luke Hruska making their last race individually here in Hamilton Pool. The other swimmers, Brian Uribe from Tufts, the junior, Nate Pfeffer, the jumbo sophomore, and Matt McGregor as well, senior from Hamilton. We head towards the 50-yard mark here. It'll actually be lane 1 in Timothy Cho coming away here in first place.
You know, he had an incredible first 25 on the butterfly that really allowed him to establish himself in this position right now.
The junior Darian Johnson gaining some ground here in the breaststroke. We're headed towards the final 25. Jumbo is going to come away 1, 2, 3. We'll see what the order of operations does end up being. It's a tight race at the end lanes, and it will be won by Cho. Final time, 54.37, coming in second place in lane 2 is actually Brian Uribe, the junior for the Jumbos. That leads us into this second heat. Alex Vasquez, the freshman, in lane 1. Eric Lundgren from Tufts in lane 2. Jack G in lane 3. Emmett Adams, the junior, in lane 4. Matt Hake and Armand Sika round out this heat in lanes 5 and 6. See Hamilton making a strong push early. That's Jack G pulling away here on this first turn. Armand Sika in the backstroke looking pretty good for the Jumbos as well.
And a pretty spread out field here in the first 50, but it looks like it is Eric Lundgren after that first 50, but Emmett Adams in lane 4 is also catching up on this leg, trying to close that gap in lane 4.
And now in just 25 yards of breaststroke, Emmett Adams has seemingly closed the gap to Eric Lundgren.
It'll be a battle between Adams and Lundgren as we close this out. Looking to make a push is Chika as well on the outside in lane 6. He actually ends up finishing in second, as it'll be Jumbos 1, 2, 3 with Lundgren, Chika, and Adams on the podium respectively. And that will do it for our individual events. Next up are the freestyle relays, one for the women, one for the men. And we have 3 relay teams from each side here. In lane 1 from Hamilton, Brooks Risher, Marissa Duffy, Kat Withers, Emma Robinson. From the Jumbos in lane 2, Abigail Miller, Celine Tunche, Alia Larson, and Madison Hagberg. In lane 3 from Hamilton, Ashlyn Blessy, Caroline Shen, Carolyn Miller, and Gianna Cafone. Lane 4 for Tufts, Jillian Cudney, Quincy Wheeler, Avery Newcomer, Emma Klaus. Lane 5 for Hamilton, Ella Brady, Delaney Patterson, Chiamaka Kanu, and Ainsley Routh. And finally in lane 6 for Tufts, Esme Blackstock, Sahar Mumtaz, Marissa Chow, and Katie Shelburne.
And that Tufts relay in lane 6 is their all-senior relay, so it'll be those 4 Tufts swimmers' last swim ever in Hamilton Pool.
We're off here for our last relay for the women's side. The A team for Tufts is started off here by Cudney, and she is off to a phenomenal start on that first 25. Cudney going to lead the pack as we enter our second leg. It'll be Quincy Wheeler jumping in the pool first for Tufts. A 23.74 for Cudney on that 50 free.
And now that's a spectacular first split for the Tufts A relay there. And putting them in a really good position for the rest of this race.
That Jumbo A team still ahead. Right behind her, them are that group from Hamilton. A good leg in lane 3 from Carolyn Shen. We'll see if Carolyn Miner, the freshman, can gain some ground for the Continentals.
And in lane 4, the sophomore Avery Newcomer really trying to extend that lead over Carolyn Miner, the Hamilton A relay. In lane 3, looking like she's trying to make a little bit of a boot as they hand it over to Emma Klaus, the junior, for their final leg of this 200 free relay.
Less than 2 seconds separated our first and second place teams, and it looks like the Jumbo A team looking to close things out with Emma Klaus, the junior, here to try to stop her. Gianna Cafone here for Hamilton. The effort might not be enough. Over in lane 2, Madison Hagberg trying to gain some ground. It'll go Tufts, Hamilton, and Tufts again as lanes 4, 3, and 2 take first, second, and third. An excellent start for Jill Cudney, and that Tufts A team just did not look back.
Yeah, I mean, Cudney right off the start, explosive off the blocks, really set the tone for the rest of that race.
We now head into the men's 200-yard freestyle relay. For Hamilton in lane 1, Josh Smith, William Campbell, Wilson Zinski, Zachary Yasinov. Lane 2 for Tufts, Soren Uvard, Ethan Schreier, Emmett Adams, Eric Lundgren. In lane 3, Nathaniel Taft, Henry Weimeyer, Alex Vasquez, Ben Howell. In lane 4 for Tufts, Peter Labarge, Edwin Leon Gilman, Eli Houghton, Will Stearns. In lane 5 for Hamilton, Jamie Boyd, Oliver Jackson, Ethan Olivo, Ethan Del Rosario. And in lane 6, Timothy Chow, Rafe Shafi, Sean Carr, and Jerry Yang. That Hamilton A squad has a seed time of 1:25.12. Very respectable here in this 200-yard relay. This will be the last event in this dual meet. Tufts had a very strong showing. We don't know the final results at the moment, but more than likely going to come out on top at the conclusion of this meet. And right off the bat, Daphne, Nathaniel Taft and Peter Labarge to kick things off for those A teams on Tufts and Hamilton.
And as you said, the heavy hitters in lanes 3 and 4 with Taft and Labarge. In lane 4, that Tufts A team is all seniors, and Labarge is a grad student. So look to them trying to put away a win here, the Tufts Jumbos. But the Hamilton team is not going to go away easily.
A really nice opening leg for both Labarge and Taft. Right now, the Jumbo A team ahead by just a little bit as Edwin Lane Gilman goes into this second leg, but right behind him is Ethan Schreier for the Continentals. The Tufts B team also having a very solid opportunity here. Schreier there in lane 2. We see Henry Weimeyer for the Continentals actually taking the lead for Hamilton as we head into our third leg.
And it's going to be haymaker after haymaker with these two teams. And the Tufts A and B team really keeping pace together with the Hamilton A.
Yeah, no, and it's going to be a dogfight to the finish here. This building is getting extremely loud in here, if you can tell through this microphone, as basically all three relays are virtually even as they all go into this last 50 together.
Less than a tenth of a second between our top three teams as we come into the final leg of this dual meet. It's Eric Lundgren, Ben Howell, and Will Stearns in lane 4 as we complete the final turn into the home stretch. It's Stearns leading the charge. The Jumbos trying to pull away. They will take this relay 1 and 3. Hamilton's A team finishes second after a strong leg from Ben Howell, but Will Stearns comes from behind and takes the last one of this meet for the Jumbo seniors and grad students.
And there is no better way to end this meet than that event right there. I mean, 3 lanes right in contention all the way through. You could feel the energy coursing through this building.
Yeah, no, most certainly. It got loud in here. We were basically shouting into our microphones, and you could tell that the energy was electric in here from both teams. It was a really close race and a really great way to close out this senior day meet.
And just talking about the clutch gene, I mean, Will Stearns coming in on that last leg, knowing that basically you're on even ground all 3 relays, really just finding that extra gear to close it out.
And it'll be the Jumbos coming away with this one. The last victory of this dual meet. We went through around 30 events, not including the diving ones, obviously, as that was happening over in Babson. But an excellent way to cap off their regular season, as the Jumbos will more than likely take this dual meet against the Hamilton Continentals. Of course, on the other side for Hamilton, we saw some strong showings, specifically that freshman Nathaniel Taft for Hamilton will be a very strong swimmer for their team for years to come. Well, those are all the events that we had here for this dual meet. We're going to step aside, take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be sitting down with Jill Cudney and Emmett Adams for a bit of an interview after their meet.
All right, welcome back. I'm here joined by Emmett Adams and Jill Cudney. Emmett, you had quite the split on your 200 medley relay, 25-4 on the breaststroke. How'd that feel?
Man, it felt good, just kind of from the jump, just in the water. Just, it's one of those races where kind of everything goes right. A little long in the turn, but other than that, no complaints. Super excited to see the drops as the taper comes in and we got more rest, and for Nescacs, because one of my favorite things to swim.
Oh, that's awesome. And Jill, senior day, you're a senior, and just to celebrate the occasion, setting a pool record on the 50 fly with a 25-7. Walk us through that a little bit.
Oh, where to begin? Well, I thought it was an okay race for this point in the season. Obviously, unlike some of my teammates, I'm suited up today, like a couple of us. I honestly was trying to gun for that record again, so I'm pretty happy I got it. Could have executed the race a little bit better, in my opinion, but I always have that takeaway from my 50s. So overall, I was pretty happy with it. I thought my underwaters felt pretty good. I'm sure, hopefully, well, I'm hoping they look pretty good too.
I thought they were good.
Thank you. And overall, yeah, I thought it was a fun race. Happy to see that time lowered again.
Yeah, congratulations on the pool record. And Emmett, today is senior day. Tell us a little bit about the seniors and how they've really led the team and how much they mean.
Man, the senior class this year, man, it's kind of undescribable. You come in as a freshman and you're so impressionable, you kind of don't know what's going on. And, ever since they were sophomores, they've just, each one of them individually, just taken every one of us under our wings. They're also different and eclectic and weird, and, that's the only way I can really describe them. If you know them, you know. But, when it comes down to business, they're locked in, and they really love this team. And that's, something you can always tell.
Yeah, and the season isn't quite over yet. You guys have NESCACs and NCAAs left. But on top of that, you guys have one more mini-meet against some of us from JumboCast. You guys are going to be featured in our Amateur Hour episode, which we haven't filmed yet. And watching you guys today, I can tell you that Daphne, Andrew, and I are all incredibly nervous.
Yeah.
How bad do you think you guys are going to beat us by?
Oh, I don't want to make any speculations, but I will say this is probably the most important meet of the year for us.
Oh, I definitely agree. We're taking it really seriously.
Yeah.
Getting the 8 hours of sleep, eating right.
Yep. Checking off all the boxes.
Absolutely.
So.
You can never underestimate any opponent you're swimming against.
I think you could overestimate us a lot. We're not very fast, but we're looking forward to that a lot. Hopefully that episode will be out by the time you guys are at NCAAs. And we'll be right back with some Senior Day celebrations in around 5 minutes. And until then, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
release song. We'll see you all soon at dinner.